Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Da 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 da. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and we're back with more Halloween 2021 reviews. And again, this one is also technically a Rob's Never Seen, because tonight we're talking about 1993's. I had just turned fucking 18 years old. John Carpenter presents Body Bags. Now, the only time I ever heard of a movie like this was in reference to the movie True Romance, where they talk about a movie called Coming Home in a Body Bag. And I think that whenever I'd hear of this movie, I think they were talking about that fake movie from that movie. Because I never saw this. I didn't really know anything about this. So when I saw Body Bags, even then, like recently, looking at it, I was like, oh, is that the movie that Christian Slater was talking about in True Romance? No, it has nothing to do with that. That's a Vietnam movie. This is an anthology movie which John Carpenter and Tobe Hooper made, and for some reason this just missed me by like a wide mile. Like this one went right by me and I never saw it, because I am a big fan of early John Carpenter. I really like a lot of stuff that he did in the 80s and early 90s, and I'm just really happy that I finally watched this, because I already recorded, by the time you see this it'll be out, but like I recorded 2 of these now today. I recorded Nightbreed. Now I'm talking about this. When I saw this, I was like, you know what? Just do it. Just watch this movie, because an anthology is different than talking about a whole other movie, and it's a little bit of an easier sit because your stories are broken up and your attention gets to be diverted quicker. Because let's face it, a lot of our attention spans have gotten a lot, at least mine have. You know, I watch things in episodes, now. I don't watch as many movies. If I watch a movie, I have to make a real decision to do it. And that's weird, I know, but like most of the time it's because I either have seen it a million times, I have no intention of seeing it, or I just, there's so much entertainment to watch out there episodically, which is still the way I think everything is going to end up really going. But, I mean, we'll still have movies. I'm not saying, that we're going to end movies. I'm just saying more long-form storytelling. I think a lot more people are going to be driven to that. But this anthology really feels like it's Showtime's answer to Tales from the Crypt, which was on HBO. Now, I've seen interviews with John Carpenter about this, about, hey, we could do this in between making features. I have all my horror movie friends. I got people in the industry I like to work with. We can just do this. But it was the first thing I saw when I turned this on was the Showtime logo. But before I get any deeper into this, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And hitting the like button. If you're new to the channel, if you're old, please hit like anyway. Helps us out with motivation to make content. Right? That's like 95% of what a subscribe does for me anyway. So if you're new, welcome to the conversation. If you're returning, welcome back. How you doing? So, yeah, the first thing I saw was the Showtime logo and went, oh, This just makes perfect sense. That HBO's got Tales from the Crypt. It's really popular. 93 was really still in full swing, I think. Showtime, like, HBO was still what you talked about. In 93, they had shows like Dream On and Arliss, I believe, things like that. They were making a name. They were creating television now. It wasn't just wait for the fucking movies to come out and then eventually come on HBO and then run them ad nauseum. They were making their own content, and Showtime probably was like, well, we got to get on this too, because we got nothing but the fucking Red Shoe Diaries, and we don't air that till later at night. So let's put out something else. I don't know if this was just a movie, if they intended it to be a movie, if it was like this was an experiment and then they'd make shows, or just make a movie every once in a while. But here we are. I've never seen a sequel to this, so I guess it didn't really land. It sounded like an idea that they were talking about taking off, like we're going to keep doing these. If they've done more, somebody let me know. But this contains 3 mini little episodic anthology stories, 2 by John Carpenter, the final one by Tobe Hooper, and it's got a cast of really great people. Really, really great people. And for some reason, my damn phone closed up on my cast list. But this is who we've got in this movie, man. Okay, so first off, you've got John Carpenter, who plays like the Tales from the Crypt Keeper guy. He's the morgue, the guy in the morgue, right? And I got to admit, the makeup, because he comes from this kind of, been around all this, the makeup and everything, they make him look really creepy. In fact, he looks dead, which plays a big role in the character. I thought, wow, this guy's really creepy looking. I thought John Carpenter did pretty good. But here's the thing. The Crypt Keeper has puns. The Crypt Keeper is a puppet. The Crypt Keeper has that voice. All right, this guy just sounds like John Carpenter. And he's just kind of walking around the morgue, and it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be the Crypt Keeper, but I'm saying when you have a guy coming in between each episode, it needs to grab you a little bit more. And in this, it really didn't grab me much. And some of it's pretty dated. I mean, when he pulls out, there's a part where he pulls out a dead body, and it's just a woman with huge tits. And I was like, oh, it's the obligatory, we can do it, so let's show it big, woman with large breasts. So, the things in between, if this had taken off, I think they probably would have gotten better at it. Instead, you've got the director who's, he's not an actor. He's doing okay, but he's no Crypt Keeper, and nobody, but that's not really a fair comparison, because nobody can be the Crypt Keeper except for the Crypt Keeper. But we've also got a plethora of great actors in here, including Tobe Hooper, who is a cameo in this. There's a lot of cameos. Wes Craven, Roger Corman, Mark Hamill, David Naughton, Robert Carradine, Stacy Keach, Sheena Vavavoom Easton. Sheena Easton. Look, I am a child of the 80s, and I hit puberty at age 11. So Sheena Easton, sorry, that dramatic pause was for honoring the lovely, lovely Sheena Easton, whose music, whenever I hear still, and this is 93, so there's a little bit past the heyday, I think, of Sheena Easton, but she still looks really good in this. You also got David Warner, Time After Time. I associate David Warner with Time After Time. He's done a lot of stuff, but the thing I always go back to is Time After Time, which we will have to cover on this channel. Alex Dachar, Debbie, freaking Blondie, man. Debbie Harry's in this. Twiggy, Sam Raimi, Tom Arnold, Peter Jason, George Buckflower, Lucy Boyer, John Agar, and Molly Cheek. This is a really good cast. It's a really good cast. And I mean, all the directors, just alone, with Sam Raimi, Roger Corman, Wes Craven, Tobe Hooper, John Carpenter, all these guys all showing up in this movie. Plus you've got, all the other stars that are in this. It's just fantastic. Each episode is only about 20-ish minutes long. I think the last one is the longest. But there's Gas Station, Hair, and Baseball Man. And before we get into spoilers, we'll just kind of talk about them all briefly without giving away really too much. But the thing is like, there's just enough here to tell an interesting little story, each getting a little bit weirder as they go along. I think the second one's the best. I think the first one's a little bit of an appetizer. Then they give you the main course, and I think that the third one's supposed to be like the main course, but so like the first one will be like the soup, the second one's the appetizer. I don't know why am I doing meal analogies? Let's just say that the first one was alright, the second one was the best, and the third one, unfortunately to me, as long as it was and as long as they took to tell the story, it was the one for me that was the weakest, even though it has the probably best performance in it. So here we go as we try to non-spoilerly talk about this. Let's see. Also, this was written by Billy Brown and Dan Angel. Like I said, I was just out of high school. Like I graduated probably 2-ish months after this came out. Wow. So the first one is called Gas Station. We have the John Carpenter character drinking formaldehyde as he introduces this. He hates natural causes, but he loves body bags because body bags mean something special. We also noticed that on the radio... that's spoilers. Okay, so the first one is called Gas Station, and it's the one that stars Alex Dachar as Anne, Robert Carradine as Bill, David Naughton as... Where is David Naughton? He's like at the top, right? As Pete. It also has Peter Jason and Molly Cheek and George Buck Flower. George Buck Flower is the bum from Back to the Future, and he's also a bum in this. But the guy's actually had a pretty big career, but for some reason right there around that time, it's like, hey, why don't you just be a bum? But Peter Jason, he's a very well-known character actor. But Alex Dachar, I did not really know, and I really liked Alex Dachar in this as this. It's basically she plays a girl who is starting the night shift in the middle of the night at a gas station all by herself, and she's just there to study while she works on her psychology students, like her homework for college. And Bill is played by Robert Carradine, who's the guy she's taking over for the night. And over the course of this night, a lot of shit goes down, and poor Anne has one hell of a scary night. But does she survive it? I don't know. That one, it without spoiling it, it's real basic. It's real basic. It has a lot of cliches in it, like you would, like the killer always getting up. The person not seeing the killer, not noticing things around them that they obviously would notice. But it's shot real well. I really liked that. I liked the moodiness. I liked, I liked its simplicity. And it has an end that just kind of had me laughing. And it was just like, oh, all right, that's pretty good. That's a nice way to explain it all away. And it was fine. It was fine. Now the second one, Hair, which again is my favorite one, is starring Stacy Keach, Sheena Easton, David Warner, Debbie Harry. I think that's all that are in that one. I think it's a really small cast. Stacy Keach plays this guy who's just obsessed with that he's losing his hair. He feels less of a man. He feels like his masculinity is... He's losing all that. And he's going out with Sheena Easton. All right, now Stacy Keach, even at this age, right? He's lucky to be stooping Sheena Easton. We all should be so lucky. But he feels inadequate because he feels like he's losing his hair, and she doesn't care, but he does. And he finally, after trying many, many things, goes to this place to get a miracle hair treatment where he can finally feel good about himself. And back then, and even still today, I mean, the hair companies were just really telling you to spray shit on your head and do all sorts of crap. I don't see it as much anymore. I guess I'm just not watching enough TV, like fucking real TV with commercials and not streaming, which is one of the best things about streaming, everybody. One of the fucking best things about streaming is not having so many goddamn commercials. But he gets his hair transplant done, and what happens is pretty hilarious. It reminds me of one of the parts of the original Creep show that Stephen King did, that anthology series. But Stacy Keach is awesome in it. David Warner's awesome in it. Debbie Harry is awesome in it. Everybody in this one hits it out of the fucking park as far as weird shit. And I really dug it. And Stacy Keach, I always see him as a serious guy, and he really let himself loose. He had fun with this. It was weird. It was creepy. And I really, really dug this one. Now, the third arc, the little third part of this story by Tobe Hooper is called Baseball Man, and it stars Mark Hamill himself. This is about 10 years-ish, a little less, from Jedi being out. This is around animated series, Batman the Animated Series time, where he's doing a lot more voice work, things like that. And he stars opposite Twiggy, who, look, she was a model. She is a person who was a model. I believe she's still around, right? And that's, I apologize, Twiggy. You're probably never going to watch this and then watch this be the one thing out of a million that Twiggy reads this and goes, the fuck? He thinks I'm dead? She's not that. Okay, so Twiggy, who I only knew from the Blues Brothers movie. I knew about her, and I was always like, why is she famous? I always wanted to ask somebody from that time period, why is Twiggy famous? What has she done? Is she like, Kim Kardashian, or she's a name and she lets somebody have clearly Twiggy probably didn't have a sex tape to get famous, but, along those kind of celebrities of just, I'm famous because I'm a celebrity of some stature, of something. I assume it's being a model. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Okay, so Mark Hamill's in this, Twiggy's in this, Roger Corman's in this, and another actor, John Agar, who worked with John Wayne in a lot of his classic movies like Sands of Iwo Jima and stuff. And it's pretty simple. Mark Hamill's a baseball player who's having a really good time. His wife has a surprise, coming. And on his way home, he gets into an accident and loses his eye. And he gets the opportunity to have an eye transplant. But what happens after the eye transplant, things go haywire. It does not end well for basically anybody. And that's the three stories. And Mark Hamill in that is really, really, really good. As a guy who's confused at what is happening to him throughout this thing until he just, has this kind of epiphany of what needs to happen, how it's happening, blah, blah, blah. But that one, and I'm talking kind of dismissively about it because it just, honestly, other than his performance, I was kind of bored. And I expected a lot more out of this. I actually thought a lot more, but to talk about that, we have to get into spoilers. So let's go back briefly to talk each one spoilers. So gas station, right? So she does all the cliche things. She meets Robert Carradine's Bill, who, tells her there's 2 keys and then another key, 3 keys, okay? So 3 keys, one for the door, one for the bathroom, and one to work like the register and everything else. And you just know when they emphasize that, On top of if the door closes when you get out of the booth, it automatically locks. So you know that's going to happen. You know there's going to be a problem with the keys. Anything that they focus on, you know is going to be a part of it. It's telegraphed pretty hard. So there's not a lot about this that's unpredictable, that you kind of don't see coming. They throw a lot of creepy people at you right away to go, okay, who's going to be the one who tries to hurt this woman? Because Wes Craven comes up. He's a creep. He plays a creepy guy who wants to have her come out of the booth and go to his car and drink bourbon and see what happens. Get David Naughton, who's got to drive in this nice car. David Naughton from American Werewolf in London. Love that guy. He comes by. Hey, why don't you stop by this bar and we can play pool sometime? He's fine, but again, she's being hit on twice. Third, a guy comes up with his girl in his car, and he's all partying. Like they don't say he's drunk, but he feels really drunk. And, you don't know what's up with them. And then there's the hobo who needs the bathroom key, and Party Animal says that he's wrapped up in the bathroom, like wrapped around the toilet, sleeping it off. So she goes into the bathroom to check on the guy. He's not there. She sees a very violent graffiti with people's heads being cut off and throats being slit and dragged away by a fucking demon. I will admit to being nervous during this one because it's the late at night by yourself in the middle of nowhere in a very exposed situation, because her booth is separate from the rest of the gas station for some reason. Like the garage and where you can buy pop and chips and shit are separate from the booth, who also has a bathroom and pops and shit. So I don't know what the hell the design is with this place, but it is, But I felt her isolation. I felt nervous for her late at night. I've been in places late at night by myself. It is creepy. So I will give this episode big points on getting that kind of creepy, isolated factor. But it just wasn't long enough to get too creeped out by it. But she leaves, and there's somebody was in the garage. The garage door's open. This truck that's in there is going up and down. She goes in there. She tries calling the 911, the operator. Operator's busy. Another cliche. She goes in there to find out what's going on. She finds the hobo dead in the car with his throat slit. She goes back in, and you see that there's somebody in the gas station, and it turns out it's just Bill. Bill's the killer. Robert Carradine's the killer. They don't do any big huge reveal. It's just, you can even tell that it's him from the way that they kind of show the lower part of him. It's oh, that's the same clothes that guy was wearing, so it's that guy. Or is it the employee of the month played by Sam Raimi? And I'm yeah, sure, right. It's got to be Robert Carradine because, he was there. And he... I think they got to get the Revenge of the Nerds guy to be a killer. So he just tries to kill her, and she knocks him down. He gets up. She knocks him down. He gets up. It's kind of happens twice. She handles herself well under the situation. She's trying to call 911, and of course, it's not picking up. Answer the phone. And the first thing I thought of when we were talking about, when I was watching this, though, was when she was hitting the operator button and all the things that, we don't deal with anymore, really, with the operator and things like that, where it's just these things may be the downfall of society, but boy, they sure are handy in certain situations. So she gets trapped in the garage. She's trying to drive the truck out that was in there. Robert Carradine's Bill raises it up and traps her in there, and is going to stab her to death when out of nowhere comes David Naughton. And, I kind of ruined this because David Naughton earlier had been there and paid for gas with his credit card and left. Well, he all of a sudden shows up out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. You don't see him come sneaking up from behind or anything. He just literally runs the frame, grabs onto Robert Carradine, and they fight. And Bill, he gets the better of David Naughton's character, but he is underneath the car, and the girl gets out and crushes him underneath the truck. And it's a pretty good effect that you see the blood just kind of push out everywhere and like spray out of his mouth, but like from a certain angle, so it's not too overly gory. Which was another thing that I think would have been a lot gorier if this had been like a real movie. I think we would have seen his fucking head pop off. But it was still pretty effective. And that's the end of it. All you see is David Naughton goes to her, oh, I forgot my credit card. And so that's why he came back, was because he forgot his credit card. So he happened to be there in just enough time to distract the killer so she could get out. He would get crushed under the car. That's it. It's over. It ends. And we cut to like the mortician, whatever, the guy, John Carpenter's character, just fooling around some more. And we get to Hair. Now, Hair, like I said, is my favorite one of these. Because Stacy Keach, like I said, is fear of going bald. You know, people are saying, like the guy at the hairdresser's like, you're heading for Egghead City, man, but I can style your hair up, you know. And he's with this woman who is very beautiful, and I feel like, you know, he's just not happy. He just feels like not himself, and he doesn't accept himself. And that's like the whole point of this. This one's got that moral, you know, to it of you should just be happy with who you are, because if you try to find a miracle, chances are it's a lie. And that's what happens. Like he gets so upset, and there's a laugh out loud moment. I mean, there's a laugh out loud moment in this where he's just so desperate. Like he gets his hair styled, and he's just all he sees everywhere he goes is people with like Fabio locks just walking down the road, and even the dog is like an Afghan dog, and it's just all making him feel like shit. And he finally, you know, tries his own stuff, and he like puts this goop in his hair so that when Sheena Easton kisses him on the forehead, she ends up with like what looks like a big pile of shit on her mouth. And I laughed out loud because it just was legitimately funny. And even it was the Stacy Keach character looks at her and he laughs, and everybody's laughing. And it was one of those jokes that everyone is in on. Like, it felt nice. Like, I knew this was a meant-to-be kind of joke, and it was great. And it really, I don't know, I haven't had a moment like that in a movie. I know it seems like some simple little gag, but I really laughed. Like, that's really funny that he had so much shit on his head that it came off in this big chunk on her mouth. But he's not accepting himself, and she leaves because he just can't. You know, he's just not satisfied. He keeps thinking, you know, oh, you're not going to love me anymore. And she's into him. Dude, she was into you. You were getting into her, if you know what I'm saying. So it's like, damn. Well, he'd seen this commercial for the Roswell hair growth procedure. He's like, David Warner's the head of it, right? And he's like, I after my procedure, I bought the company. Which is another kind of trademark saying from those, like, you know, infomercials. I loved that so much, I bought the product, you know. So he eventually calls it. One big red flag right off the bat is the phone number to call this place. 555-9911. Yeah. Also, when he goes to his appointment, he's got his red beret, like, military hat on. I'm like, why are you wearing your red beret hat? Like, just wear a hat. I mean, I understand, like, wearing a hat when you're upset with your hair. I've done that. I do that. It's one of the only reasons why I'll wear a hat, really, is if I'm dissatisfied and I don't want to fuck with my hair or try anything. I'll wear a hat. Or, you know... Because you know, on my channel, everybody got used to seeing me with the backwards baseball cap on. And sometimes I wear it, but a lot of times now, like, I'm satisfied most of the time with my hair. I always fuck with it. So I kind of understand. I think that's another reason why I like this guy's plight, is because I get the hair thing, but not to the degree that he's at it. But they kind of question him about it. Like, do you really want this? Is this something you really want? It's like, why the fuck are they asking him all these questions? Like, you're the one with the fucking commercial, man. Like, you're the one telling everybody you can, like, change their lives and shit. And Debbie Harry's his assistant. And it's really funny how they go through the procedure of choosing the hair, and she's all about it. And again, you know, like she's kind of all over him too, like this, like Stacy Keach, man. I guess father figures or something like that. But they give him the procedure. He wakes up in the morning and he's got the big fucking long ass hair. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful hair. His girlfriend comes over. They go to town on each other. Everything seems great. The people at the hair salon think he's, oh my god, I can't believe this. Who is this guy? Where does he come from? Like, how'd you get this hair done? There's a great moment where he's like looking at himself in the mirror and like running different scenarios. Like, no, you can't touch it because if you touch it, then everybody else I have to let touch it. You know. What is he? There's a line that I even wrote down like. See that my he's like just looks very seriously in the mirror. He's like, see that my men are well fed and bring forth the women. I was dying. And he's just laughing and having a great time. And when the actor is having that good of a time, even in something like this where it's just kind of cheesy, you know it's going to be over in a half an hour, it was really, really enjoyable. Now, immediately, though, there's something wrong because he starts to cough. He's like, I got an itch in my throat. And I'm like, oh, well, here we go. This is where it starts. And then you already know. It's like, well, there's got to be a hair. There's got to be hair in the back of his throat or something. Like, hair's growing somewhere. And it's also growing like 6 inches since he like woke up in the morning. And when he goes to the hairdresser to get it cut off, you start to see the hair like inch back to where he is. Nobody else sees it, but they show us like little inchworms crawling up back onto him. So much that like he wakes up in the morning, right? He feels bad. He's got more of a cough. He can't. He's getting these like these lesions on his face. Like in the middle of the night, hair is just growing out from all over, like his eyebrows and his lips. And in the middle of the night, you see like these hairs like growing inside the skin, which was a really good effect. That was really, really cool. And it's like starting to burst through, like like pop through. So it's like showing like how violent the action is of like this hair growing through this guy, and how there's even hair at the back of his throat. And he like uses a flashlight and a mirror, and he sees like a hair sticking out like a worm, down the back of his throat, like yeah. And eventually he cuts one of the hairs and it screams. And he looks at it, and it's like got a head and eyes and teeth, and these things are like worms, and they just keep growing and growing and growing. And he finally goes back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, he is nonplussed about the whole thing. Debbie Harry's all over him. It's like this whole thing that they've got going on, and he's walked in, and he's just covered in this hair, and it turns out. That these people are aliens. I said Roswell. It was that pretty clear where this was headed, but I didn't know that the people working at the place were going to be the aliens. I thought it was just a play on words and that the stuff they were using was alien, which it is. I just didn't know that the doctor and his nurse were also aliens and that their race feeds off of the brains of humans, and this is how they get in. He just like rips open Stacy Keach's arm and the worms all come out, and it's not as gross as you think. It literally just a mark and then a couple of worms come out, and there's like worms he pops out of his eyeballs that are like little it's like this is the only shitty special effect is when they try to do the close-up CG of these worms, which is just very dated for the time. But still, like the whole idea that this is how they transplant it. This is their invasion takeover, is that the vanity of men or anyone who wants their hair transplanted, well, once you get it, these things are now in your head and they're feeding on your brains. And basically after they tell him this, his brain has been mush. And he just sits down and they start like taking them out of him to put them in like containers so that they can do it again and again to the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person. It's like, I also kind of like love this because this is like invasion on a small scale. Like it's a long game. They're playing a really long game. It's not like the come out of fucking space and just demolish everything. It kind of takes like the idea of the Thing where you like how long till infection happens before the whole world is spread. These guys are more like realistic and going, you know what? Let's not fucking throw all our, chips on the table. Let's not go all in. Let's not show our hand. Let's be a little more subtle about this. Let's take how humanity behaves and do our invasion through like study of their race and how do we get into their brains. This is a good way to do it, and it's safe. And we could do it and do it and do it and do it. And probably, forever and not actually have to expose themselves. So again, Hair, John Carpenter, you did a really good one here. Now the last one being Baseball Man. Look, like I said, the best part of this is Mark Hamill. He really gives it his all. But he's this guy who, he's a baseball player, having a great game. His wife is about to tell him that she's pregnant. He gets into his car at night. It's the middle of a horrible rainstorm, and he keeps reaching for his cassette tapes because cassette tapes, everyone. Cassette tapes. I still have a few. He's reaching for the cassette tapes, and he gets it, and I just love that it was the B-52s, which shows how long ago this was, how long ago the, Love Shack tape came out. But he had to get those B-52s because once he finally gets it, he looks up, there's a deer in the road. He gets into an accident. Glass goes into his eye. I love that he's doing this at first, and then they show, and it's like shocking. But like to us these days, like seeing that, it's not that bad. I mean, I know for some people seeing it no matter what is going to be like, oh God, no. But like, it's just they prepare you so much that you just get, it really didn't bother me. And I got to think about my eyes too, and I was just like, yeah, okay. But he gets in, the doctors, and they're like, we don't know what to do. Baseball player, I have to see. And this guy comes in with Roger Corman, and he's like, I can give you a different eye. Nobody else here wants to do it, not even this guy, but I can do it. I can put an eye in, and the worst case scenario is the eye dies and we take it out. So he's like, of course, give me the fucking eye, all right? So he gives him the eye. They do the surgery. He can see right away, and everything's great. But just like immediately, weird little things start happening. He starts getting headaches. He starts seeing things. He looks out the window, and he sees like a dead, naked, screaming woman burst out of the ground, which is pretty kind of cool. I mean, not cool, like, hey, that's cool. I love seeing naked women come popping out of the ground screaming. That's not what I mean. I thought it was a scary, effective moment. That's why I say it was cool. I was like, oh, they're shaking it up now. We're seeing stuff. Like, is this happening? Is this something he did? Is this something he's going to do? Because it's clear, like, we've seen this before, right? They're seeing things that the person who had the eye was, because apparently that's how it works. They all carry all their childhood trauma and memories in their eyeballs and not their brains. So that, first off, you got to go, well, that fucking doesn't make any kind of sense. Look at that Jessica Alba one, right? Where she's like gets corneas and all of a sudden she can fucking psychically see a bunch of shit. Isn't that how that went? Well, this makes even less sense. Because, I believe, like, in certain things where it's like, like on Fringe, they talked about how they could see the last thing they saw as like a photograph. But this guy's seeing full-on memories, man, with voices and people, and it's just ridiculous. But he doesn't do anything. He just starts kind of aggressively getting worse. The headaches, some of the things he's seeing. There is an attack. He attacks his wife in bed, and that gets kind of intense. That I will give them that. That gets kind of intense because he like sees like a dead woman that he's on top of, and he starts trying to kill her, not realizing he's like strangling his wife, biting his wife. He's losing his mind. He's talking like crazy, like I'm not gonna say speaking in tongues, but he's speaking in that weird, crazy biblical, like guy in the corner screaming about the end of the world and all sorts of shit. And he's creeping it out, and he's doing a really good job of elevating his mental decline. But there's just really there's not anything going on except that he asked the doctor, what'd you do? Whose eye was this? And they're like, it's a death penalty eye. The guy was put on death row and he's dead. His name is John Randall. And he looks up John Randall. He's like, oh, John Randall killed a bunch of blonde ladies, which his wife is blonde. So he goes home and tries to kill his wife. And she keeps telling him, like, it's in the Bible, you know, like, read the Bible, it's signed by me to you. And it's like to wake him up. And it does. And he sticks the scissors in his eye to stop the whole thing, and he dies. So good, he didn't kill his wife. You shoved the scissors too far in, motherfucker. All you had to do is go boop. But he shoved them like... Because I guess he'd rather die than kill his wife, which is fine. But I just think, why do you have to die? Oh yeah, because it's called body bags. So that's the end. You know, there's this little bit right here at the end where you find out that the John Carpenter character is dead, which he looks dead throughout the whole thing. The makeup makes him look really bad. And all of a sudden, like, Tom Arnold and Tobe Hooper are walking in, and he jumps into his own body bag, and they start doing an autopsy on him. And then they cut into his head. He's like wide open eyes going, ah! But he's dead. So what the fuck? That's Body Bags, everybody. It's pretty good. It's like it's been all over the place. Like, it ends weak, but that middle part, man, if you can just find that middle part and watch Hair, you know, just skip to like 25 minutes in, 30 minutes in, and watch Hair, and that's pretty good. That would be a pretty good Tales from the Crypt. It was pretty good, and it's what I would expect from that kind of thing. But again, I'm glad that I watched this. I was pretty satisfied. It's a nice trip down memory lane. 1993. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel old at all. So, if you like this review, please hit the like button. Comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. Yeah, this was episode 3, wasn't it? But if you did not like anything I said, well, we can give you a better memory. So, for those of you who did like this, please put on shades, look away. Light-sensitive people, get the fuck out, as we give the people who hated this a little bit of a better memory. Here's something a little bit better than what you just heard. Have a great day, and we'll see you on episode 4.
I want something that is very, exciting.
Yes.
Bold.
Yes.
Sexy.
Yes, yes!
Let's try this. We call this our stallion.